All right. I'll start all over. I call this meeting to order, and my battery is dying, and I am prepared for that though. So I am, but I'm sitting on it. Anyway, I swear I have it laid out just for this reason. There it is. So not it. I'm the only one that read the meetings, but that's okay. You can read them after we're done here. And if Christy is not here for our meeting, then I record this and she takes the minutes off of that and she posts it almost the next day, but it always had a date. So if you know that, like last month's was 1/17, so go to file and look at our date was 20 something, 21st, and that'll be the minutes for this if you care. So but so yeah, kind of look through those before every meeting, and then that way we don't have to take time. And let's see. Did anybody read them at all?
I'll read them in a second.
Okay. Sharon did. So Sharon, will you make a motion and
Yes.
Amy did.
What do you want me to motion?
Yeah, and then Amy will second.
I second the motion.
Yeah. All right, got that. Thank you, girls. Any discussions about the meeting or the minutes? All right. Yes or no? All right. I'll approve, say yay or nay.
Yay.
Unmute yourself.
Hey.
Or a hand will do. A hand will do. All right. Do we have a treasury report? Bethany?
If you can move on, I'll have it in a moment.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I just finally didn't forget you. So I usually do that. Let's see. The old business we were talking about, and I had them pulled up and I've lost them. So old business, I can go find them. Come on, maybe. All right, the old business would be about what Christy has to share, if she has any more update for the Jackson's Mill for the 4-H youth program.
Sure, I absolutely do have some updates.
Perfect.
So Tiffany and I are going to meet tomorrow to gather a list of like what sizes bee suits.
Right.
I'd like to get a variation of the different veil styles, different suits, kind of make it an opportunity for people to see that, that it's not just this is what you have to have type of thing.
Right.
So we're going to meet tomorrow on that, and we're going to plan the first work day, which is hopefully building the electric fence.
Oh, nice.
I want to get that up and going. I talked to Dave Snively at the mill. We are allowed to use that building to store any equipment. Tiffany and I saw it. It is not the most secure, meaning critters have burrowed underneath and got inside, but I think we can probably make it doable. They have offered to move a storage building closer to us.
Oh, nice.
But I wanted to see, Tiffany and I'll go back there at some point, and maybe when we're building the fence, to see if we can secure that big building. It's a big building.
Nice.
Christy, when are you guys building the fence?
Sometime in March is my goal. So I don't know an exact weekend yet. When Tiffany and I meet tomorrow, Susan, I can always reach out to you.
If you want help and my calendar is open, I'm only just a little more an hour away. I would absolutely love, because I do need to build a fence someday. So I would love to give my labor to you so I can get your knowledge.
Okay. Yep, absolutely. And I'll post it on the women's thing too, in case anyone in the
Perfect.
local area wants to come.
Thank you.
I know that I got a call this past weekend actually from a local dentist that has retired. He used to be a beekeeper. He has some equipment. He doesn't think he has any woodenware, which we don't need because Bearsville donated that, but he has like hive stands and
Oh, nice.
he thinks some other stuff in his building where he could no longer do it. So he's going to inventory that. He said hopefully this weekend, if the weather cooperates with him, and it doesn't
Nice.
look like it's going to cooperate, but hopefully it does. And then he'll call me back and I can go pick up that stuff. He just lives down the road from Jacksonville also. And then I think we have some monetary donations coming in as well. So it's
That's correct.
moving-
I have some monetary donations that I
Yes,
have collected so far.
perfect.
Nice.
So, and I'm going to talk to our local, couple of our local farm places to see if they would donate some electric fence equipment.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So we'll see what we can come up with there. We will have to use solar for now because there is no electric. I asked them, there's electric down by the campgrounds, but they've never ran it past the campgrounds.
Mhm.
So it could be maybe something that we work towards later,
Yeah.
because it'd be nice to have it in the building too. So that way
Yeah.
we could do stuff in there. I contacted Jason again, which he's the camping director. I have not heard
Yes.
anything. Makes me a little bit nervous because he was having issues with some of his kids being sick. So I hope
Right.
everything's okay with him there.
Yeah, right. Mhm.
So I messaged him again, asking him if we can schedule over the next couple of weeks so we can get that talked about and start planning on that as well. So I have a
Mhm.
couple of people local that are willing to help with, the putting stuff together, because once Bearsville, once I can get with them to get the equipment, we'll have to, assemble it and paint it to
Sure.
get it ready. And hive stands, I'd like to have a couple different variations of hive stands. I already have some cinder blocks for showing one. I think the one that Doc Shaver's given us is metal piping that he
Good.
built.
Mhm.
So anyone has any ideas of different variations to use, let me know. We will definitely try to get as many options possible for people to look at.
Mhm. Well, I was, I, had some messages sent to me and, since, our letter went out all over the web, actually, we got like 5 new members, I think, of our group because they didn't even know we existed. So that was a bonus, women.
Yeah,
And then one, and I don't know, I don't remember what club he belongs to, but their meeting is tomorrow and he's going to submit, trying to give us something. So, and I said that, they could take it to the conference and give it to one of you. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I'm bribing my dad to take this truck.
Yeah, well, he said her husband has a truck too. So I spoke with her and
yeah.
so, yeah. And yeah, Bethany, you wanted to say something?
Something that just came to my mind was it was brought up at a meeting, at my local club meeting, about the state having funds that they were awarded for youth programs.
Mm-hmm.
So I know our club talked to them because of our youth programming we're doing at the conference. So it
Okay.
might be interesting if somebody, some way wanted to formulate something or discuss with the state about
I will.
some funding. Because
Yep.
I can get the particulars about what they had. It was a significant amount of money that they had.
Oh, wow.
Also, I think it was like maybe $2,000 they were sitting on, but then I don't know, but I know we got some for our kids programming. And also I may know a place I can get like those thin fiberglass rod type for the electric fence.
Okay.
Mike and Dean had them, a bunch of them in their shed. And they initially, when they did the trees, they tried to use those to stake the trees and it was not a good thing. So they gave me some to use for like tomato stakes or whatever, but they had a bunch.
Oh,
They-
nice.
I'm sure they would be willing to donate some of those for the fencing if that was something we could use.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
Okay.
you.
You're
That's
welcome.
great. Mhm.
So really only pulling pieces together for the fence. I am going to do an Amazon. I know a lot of people don't like to order from Amazon, but this will give some people an idea of like, you can get hive tools on there. We can get smokers on there. I mean, there's lots of stuff on there that we can get, but just to create a list that we could post somewhere of here's some ideas of things that we would need. Like I'd like to have different variation of hive tools to show
Right.
them the different types that they can try out. So I've got that started. I'll review it with Tiffany tomorrow and we can look to see what we need to add. The bee suits are the same. I'd like different sizes, different types, different veil types. We are going to require full suits
Good.
for the youth educators. Our volunteers that go through the approved list, we do have to have a waiver on record at the mill and, a liability waiver. And for them, if they're approved, they can just wear the jackets, but a veil will always be required in there.
Yes. Good.
For sure.
Good.
Amy, I see your hand. Did you want
I
to?
do have a question. For our beginner beekeeping program that's coming up, I just wrote to Man Lake, the Dawn, Blue Sky, and I just asked them if they'd like to donate anything for the door prizes that we can hand out to the beginner beekeeping course. And they said, what in particular would you like? And I said, well, really, they're beginners. What do you think? And I've gotten just free stuff by asking.
Nice.
I mean, they've
Yep.
sent me a box of stuff. So perhaps you could do the
We
same
have
thing and
to-
say it's,
yeah.
it's for what, explain what the program is. I'm sure they would just donate it. And then the
Yeah.
other thing would be, what if you created like a registry, like a baby shower registry?
Mhm.
And maybe you could say, if you'd like to support this group, and everything would get shipped to you on Amazon. You know how you create like
Right.
an Amazon wish
Yeah.
list?
Yes,
And
that's
then
what I
could buy
started.
a hive tool and send it to the club, or whatever it may
Great
be.
idea. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what we were talking about for tomorrow, making that list and then
Yes.
making it a link-based purchase
Because I think
program.
people want to help, they just don't know how, or they can't
That's
do it
exactly
physically or
right.
get there, but this would be
100%.
something you could show your support by. But if you, instead of getting stuff you don't want, or a lot of miscellaneous stuff of the same thing or whatever, just create
Right.
your wish list, send the link.
Mhm.
Yes.
And my other thing would be, and I don't know if you can do it, but we do it for my Christian Help nonprofit, is through this Amazon Smile program. If you register the club, it's a percentage and it's not very much, but over time, you might get $50 in a year, percentage points on what has been bought on your list.
Huh.
And anything you buy, then, like for instance, all year long, when I order from Amazon, my Amazon Smile charity or nonprofit is Christian Help. So Christian Help gets a check on everything that I've spent on my personal thing. So, if that is something you're able to get registered, you
Yeah,
could then ask the local 4-H club, hey, when you buy whatever, put this down as a, you just register when you get on your Amazon, it's linked. And so everything they buy, you have no idea what somebody buys, but you just get a small percentage over the purchase price over the year.
So let me
Yeah.
ask you, Amy, if I go to Amazon and I buy something, I can link it to West Virginia Beekeepers.
If that's been approved, you
Right.
have to go through a whole thing getting it
Right,
approved,
before
and
it
you
says
link it,
before
but you
age,
have to go through Amazon Smile every time you get on Amazon, not just Amazon. But you
Right.
can set it up that way that every time you open it, it's on Amazon Smile.
Yes.
Those are just a
Something
couple
to
things I
look
wanted to
into,
throw out there.
Yeah. Well, you girls
But the
try to look
registry would
into it.
be, the registry would be easy, your wish list.
Yes. Yeah. And since, I now know how to finish out the nonprofit paperwork, we will be starting one of those for the apiary at the mill because they don't want any funding or any donations or anything that we do from selling to go through the mill, which I'm thankful for. We'll kind of
Right,
be
good,
managing
good.
that on our own. So
Mhm. Mhm.
that'll be another process I start also, but I'm waiting on that one. A little bit until at least I do my taxes and the beekeeper's taxes, and then I'll start that new process. So,
Good. Good.
but other than that, Tiffany, do you have anything else?
No, not really. No, not until tomorrow.
Yep. Okay.
I have a few things, but I don't want to make it a big conversation that's not needed.
Yeah.
So
So if anyone has any ideas or any thoughts, Tiffany or myself, reach out to us. Phyllis has been doing a lot of work for us of giving us ideas as well. Shoot them out to us. It's going to probably start moving really fast soon,
Mhm.
especially once we get the fence up. One of the biggest things is probably bees. So, think of us if you're splitting bees and you don't have room.
Oh, really?
We will
Okay.
gladly fill up. We have 6 hives, a laying hive, and we'll have a resource hive. So,
Well, I think when you didn't talk to Bob, right, at Bearsville yet, Christy?
I messaged him
Okay.
yesterday or the day before, and I haven't heard back from him, but I
gosh.
didn't know if he
Well,
was out or something. Yeah.
They usually get right back with you, so he must be busy. But
Yeah.
he also mentioned about giving a hive of bees. So
Nice.
yeah, so tell him, you heard it from me. Is it true? And so you can count or not count on that one.
Yes. Yes.
And yeah, so
Okay.
I think the bees will be easy to come by.
Good.
So I wouldn't mind a bit to donate a nuke. I
Okay.
did to the BITs or whatever, the bits,
Yeah.
whoever, what, I don't know what this stands
The
for, something.
Beekeeper in training.
Beekeepers in training, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so
Well,
if I did it to
Christy
them, I
and
definitely have to do it
Tiffany
for-
and Phyllis, thank you so much for what you're doing because this is such a good.
Yep. You're
opportunity
welcome.
to
I'm
do
just
so
glad to
many
see it
people.
getting to this point. Yeah. And we're gonna have to figure out who is teaching the class and what we're gonna use and how we're gonna present it to them. So we're gonna have to start thinking on that probably the end of March, get the conference over with and
Yeah.
everybody can take a breath. And because we can do this and we need to know about also if we have any money, and this might be where WVBA comes in helpful to buy the crafts that we want to do with them, because the Florida youth 4-H book, they do a lot of crafts in that be related, not crafts as in take home and give to mom. It's educational, like a sundial and how a bee looks, how you look through, make the little holes or whatever, and this is how a bee sees the world and stuff like that. I think even a high school kid would, it's not per se a 9-year-old. So I think, once we figure out who's going to do it and we can get together, and we don't have to do every craft in there, but it would be nice to do some. So
Yeah. I'm hoping that we can get Jason, like I said, this week or next week on that call,
Okay.
and at least plan which camp so that he can kind of give us,
Right,
how
the
many
age.
days and the age. Because if it's
Yeah.
OMC, which is the one we talked about first, that's older kids, which
Mhm.
is nice.
Yeah.
But it's also a longer camp. It's not a 4-day camp. I think that's a 5-day camp, 5 or 6-day camp. So they
Okay.
would have more classes. So that's the kind of information I need from him. And
Right.
I sent them the waiver, Phyllis, so they're giving it to their lawyers to make sure
Okay, good.
that
Good.
as long as we're volunteers, we'll have that waiver as well. But
Yep.
it'll be obviously getting parental approval as well and understanding all of that before
Yeah.
they can step into the apiary. So
Absolutely.
so hopefully we get Jason in the next couple of weeks
All
and can
right.
talk to him. So
Good.
yeah, anybody that's close or not close but still wants to come, I'll try to post on Women's Beekeepers when we're going to have a work day. You know how it is with the weather. If it's, we can't really plan months in advance because it may be, rainy or muddy that day. So,
Mhm.
but we will start moving in March on some
Good.
stuff.
Sounds wonderful.
Yep. Okay. That's all I have.
No, that was great. That was great. Amy, do you still have a question or you're just hand up? Waving? Oh, she took, okay. So the next we were talking about t-shirts. I put it up there to sell at conference. I think we sold 4 or 5. And Bethany said some of them have sent their money in. So, but if the money's not to Bethany by the time conference 3 of them, okay, then it won't happen. So I don't cater to too much, so it gets hard. And then our B classes are doing well. We've had a drop off on that, and I think that's only because us, record them, and people find it so much easier to sit back at their leisure and watch the classes through the recording, which is a shame. I like to have one-on-one and people in the class and ask questions. But it is what it is. So do we have any new business? You guys think of anything else? All right, I take that as nobody's looking at me, so it's like, don't look at me. It's like, I'm not looking at her. She'll put me to work. So let me. So I guess we can go find Christie's cheat sheet. Yeah, the next meeting would be March 21st. And oh, Bethany, go ahead.
Treasury.
Treasury.
Oh yeah, see?
Okay, so I'm still trying to figure out how I do this, my flow and everything, so please forgive me because I don't know what I'm doing. So what I'm trying to kind of figure out here and lay out is, so I'll go over the ending balance for January. That was 648.18. Oops, sorry. The only monies we had going out was to pay Phyllis for some items. We discussed that last meeting, and that had been cashed by the time we got to that. Hey, sorry, 648.18. So the beginning balance for January, sorry, no, that I'm all screwed up. Sorry. Anyway, right now the bank shows we have $802.18. We've had $144 in checks come in for various the shirts that were ordered for club fees, and I think there was how many did I have? Some of those checks included money that will go out to the state. I wrote that down somewhere and now I can't find it.
That's okay.
So anyway, we got money. I'm not embezzling, I swear.
We have money.
Okay.
But we
The bank says we have $802 and change. I have $30 cash, which was some monies that was like, I paid my dues cash, another member paid her dues cash, things of that nature. And there was a $20 that I had not yet deposited into the bank. So then why is that there? So it'd be 832.18 is what
All
I
right.
have.
sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah. Thank you, Bethany. Do we have a motion on that?
Or
I make a motion to accept the financial report.
Thank you, Kathy.
I make a motion to fire me.
No, you're fine.
No.
You're fine.
No.
I second.
All right. Amy,
Nobody gets fired in voluntary positions. I've
Right,
tried
isn't that
for
true?
years. You're doing a great job, Bethany.
She is. So do we have any discussions on her beautiful treasurer's report? Okay, so that's the end of that. And now I was saying before, our next meeting is March 21st, and hope to see this whole board full plus more for next month. And I call this meeting to adjourn. Do I have a motion and a second?
I make a motion to adjourn the
adjourn.
meeting.
All right,
Second.
that was Sue. And Rhonda seconded. Good enough?
I'll
I don't
second
know.
it.
Okay, Barb seconded, and I'll approve, yay or nay.
Yay.
Yeah.
All right,
Give
good deal, good
Christina
deal.
smiles.
It's the first one that I get to make, and y'all are leaving me already. That's just
No,
rude.
no.
We're not
We're
done.
not leaving.
I've got 2 presentations that I want to do, so just hang on here. I don't know why I can't see you guys. Anyway, so can you guys see the bee?
Yeah, keeping your bees healthy.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. All right. So I'm just gonna go over just a quick thing, and I sat there and watched that bee for a long time, and it was just amazing. But February, that's where you're at now. So what you're doing now is checking for honey stores, right? You're going and lifting your boxes and peeking in and seeing how they're doing, if you have sugar blocks on them or whatever. Continue emergency feeding, and that's your sugar blocks, your dry sugar if necessary. Continue to prepare equipment for coming season. You guys are doing that. Even if you don't have bees, that's where you're at. And clean up dead colonies. And you know that the X thing that I posted, if you mix that up and spray that, you can leave your dead colonies out there, and then the moths won't get them. So the upcoming month is March. So continue feeding, and then feed pollen supplements if you think you need to. Should be warm enough for everybody to start feeding pollen if you want to, and or that pollen sub. First quick inspection of brood nests. See that? Clear down into March, not now, into March, if weather permits, and check and clean up dead colonies and clean out entrances and bottom boards. That's of your dead ones. I wouldn't do that on your live ones. And assemble section honey supers. So that's just like, I took that as like rust rounds and things like that. So, and this is just, I put this up there. I didn't know if everybody knew. This is a woman, Miller Compound Honeybees in agriculture. She's a horse trainer, and she does queens. I believe she does carnioleans, but I've followed her for years, and she's out west somewhere, but she's wonderful. Go look at her page, scroll down through there. She has the beautiful queens. I think maybe she's out in Oklahoma, I think, but this is her sugar blocks that she uses, and the electrolytes. A lot of people don't put stuff like that in there, and you can get this at Tractor Supply, and it comes into it with a little packet. And I'm not muted, am I?
No, you're fine.
Okay, we hear you. Okay, everything was dead silence, and I can't see anything, and it was like, I don't even know if they can hear me. So, all right, so that's that. Yeah, go ahead.
Just curious, are you going to post this, or have you already posted this in the group chat, or is there a possibility to do so?
Well, I know you're saying
If I can.
I can't understand you. Let me put my headset on. Maybe I can hear you a little bit better. You sounded kind of like jumbled. Okay. Christine, go ahead.
I was just wondering if there was a way that, if you haven't already done so, maybe post this in like the group chat, or maybe email a copy of this to me, because I would like to print this out if possible.
Anybody here? I couldn't hear.
I
think she's
Christine- I think
asking if you're
Christine
gonna
sounded
post
better
this.
without her
Okay,
headphones on.
now I'm hearing like 3 people. Sorry.
I think she was asking if you'll post it in like the group chat or on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I can definitely do that. And this just tells you how it goes along, and how to do it. And then this lady, you'll see, she has one of the great big dehydrators from Cabela's, and that's how she does that. But you can put them in your oven, and with mine, it doesn't go lower than 200, so I leave the door open. And this is another way
I'm
that
gonna show
she
you
does
how I
it.
fill my drawn comb that's empty with some feed. Got my bucket down here. I've got some sugar with some cider vinegar, some electrolytes, and some lemongrass oil. That's a 1 cup scoop right there. This is damp, but it's pretty soft. Definitely not wet. And I just work it into the comb. So each side will take about 3 cups. And I've already got the back side filled. Otherwise, I tap this just a little bit to work it into the comb a little bit more. But it's taking it pretty good. And I've got a little bit of B-Pro here. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on here. It's not a whole lot. Gives them a little bit. This will soak up some of the moisture. And I'm going to take it.
And then this is the Cabela's
put it in my
dehydrator.
Cabela's dehydrator.
Yeah.
I'll set this frame in here. I'll stack them in here. I'll put it on, it's temperature controlled. Let me turn it on here so you can see. Oh, it's not plugged in. It's digitally controlled so I can adjust the temperature so it won't melt the comb. So I'll put on probably 70 degrees, 65, 70 degrees overnight. That'll harden up that sugar. I'll put that in the hive where it's needed. Won't have too much moisture in the hive, and they'll have some feed available if they need it.
All right. Now, does anybody have any questions on that? Forever hold your peace. Okay. For the newbies, and the older ones might get like, some helpful hints or whatever with this, but this is Cayman showing you how to paint your boxes.
Hi, it's Cayman Reynolds, and I promised we'd talk about painting, and here we are. So we're going to cover things that you need to do, things that I did in the past that were not very awesome, and why you have to watch out about the internet. Also, just different tricks and tips and ideas, and there's several different ways to paint. This paint that we're using right here is an expensive paint. Now, did I pay a lot of money for it? No, sir, because I went to Lowe's and they had some paint that someone had brought back, and instead of paying $250 for this 5-gallon, I paid $45 for this gallon. So that's the way to do it right there. Always keep a lookout for that kind of stuff. Now, there's a big debate out there on oil-based paints or latex-based paints. And some people say the oil-based paints are better. And I tend to kind of lean that way, but the cleanups of paint, and also it all depends on what price I can get. That's the main thing. Now, I'm not even really painting these days. We'll be showing you our setup for that here in probably in the next month. We'll be doing a lot of wax dipping. However, price is the main thing to me. And I really think as long as you paint the right way, you get a good undercoat or have a high-quality paint that has a primer type thing built in. Get off of there. Taking its sweet time. Anyway, so we're going to show you what to watch out for. Now, I painted some of this box so I could kind of show you what happens. Now, on this corner right here, this is one of the key spots. The tops and the bottom edges and these corners. That is where your boxes rot first. Every single time, unless you have some really bad equipment. Now, it's already sucking up into this end grain right here. This is one of the most important parts, and you've got to get in there. Plus, this piece of equipment came from the Amish in Lawrenceburg, and while the equipment is good, it's not the most uniform, and the joints aren't as tight as some of the equipment that I've purchased in the past. So in between these fingers, there's going to be gaps, especially in this box. Now, if you get budget grade or something like that, you're going to experience that as well. You need to push down with your roller on those corners and make sure it soaks up in that end grain. Crazy birds up there. I can't believe how warm it is this time of the year. T-shirt weather. All right, now look at this right here one more time. I just really want to reinforce that's with a really high quality type of paint. and it just soaks right into the end grain. You've really got to come back and get that. I don't care if it says 1 coat on the bucket. Focus on these areas. This is going to help your equipment last so much longer. Make sure that your boxes don't have a bunch of dust and stuff on them. Now, if you don't have a paint like this and you're getting, just like a barn and fence paint or something like that, make sure you have a good undercoat. I really think a good primer or just a really high quality paint is worth it. Now, price is there too, but one thing that I learned the hard way is, so when I started off 18 years ago, I painted my boxes almost like this. The only thing I didn't do is focus a lot on these edges right here. And because of that, my equipment probably could have lasted quite a bit longer. Those boxes lasted about a decade without a second coat of paint on them. Had I come back and painted them, and had I painted them right the first time, I bet I'd still be using several of them. Now, what happens, especially here in Tennessee where we get a lot of rain, like 60, 70 inches of rain, we get a lot in the wintertime, we're warm, we are one of the #1 states for flora and fauna, our soil loves to rot things, is that you'll get some rain and it'll sit between the bottom board and the bottom box or the next box up, and it doesn't matter. As long as there's a little crack, that those tiny raindrops will get in there and they'll sit on there. And if you don't have it painted, it's going to soak up into your wood, and as it gets colder and warmer, it's going to expand, it's going to swell, it's going to cause issues. And if you paint it or wax dip it or you seal it with something, it's going to help tremendously. And a lot of times think, well, paint's a little expensive. Now, if you can find it cheap, that's great, but some people don't want to take the time. I don't like to paint. I don't. But it really makes a big difference. And I really think with a good paint job, you focus on those end grains and those edges, you are going to give yourself a piece of equipment that has the opportunity to last a decade, especially if you come back in a handful of years and you go back and paint those edges and corners and maybe just paint the whole box. But this smooth area right here, boxes really don't rot there. If they're going to rot, it's going to be up in here or down in here where it's soaked in through the edges right here or through those corners every stinking time. Now, I'm going to be using, let me get to a bare spot. Now, so let me tell you another story though. So I painted them somewhat right the first time and they lasted really good. A few years later, probably about 2 or 3 years after I got into beekeeping, I came into a beekeeping guru's website. I'm not going to name names, but it said to go ahead and just don't paint it because, it's more, it's better for the colony, it's more natural for the bees when they're flying in to look at it, and, the
Oh, sorry.
cost of paint, the time to paint it, if you just let it go as it is, it's almost just as good as painting it, and it'll be, the cost will be about the same. I say fiddlesticks to that. That was bad information, and those boxes lasted only about 3, maybe 5 years on the better ones, and the last couple of years of service, they were so swollen and just such a shoddy bunch of work at that point. Just ruined the boxes, and I really recommend you don't do that. Now, there's a couple different ways of preserving your boxes that doesn't involve paint, but I really think that you need to do something to encourage longer life on your equipment. If you haven't noticed, beekeeping can be a little pricey. Now, we'll be trying to provide some information to help you save money, but the best thing you can do is take the equipment that you have invested in and make it last. All right. Off my little soapbox. All right, so we got our bare side over here. Again, this smooth side, that's not where it's going to rot much. Now, you're probably wondering, should I paint the inside of my box? And if you ask that on Facebook, my goodness, you're going to be bombarded with a heck of a lot of no's. But I know beekeepers who do that, and if you read a lot of books in beekeeping history, there were several old beekeepers that did that, and they weren't using some of the paints that we're using now that, in my opinion, are better for, well, just pretty much everything and anyone as far as safety goes, and the bees were fine. Anyone that's done a lot of cutouts, they can show you pictures of bees being up against pressure treated. They'll be up against asbestos kind of material. They'll be up against lead paint, all kinds of stuff. I'm really not concerned about that as far as the bees' health. I'm concerned about it getting in to my honey and whatnot. So I want to watch out on that kind of thing. I don't think there's any reason to paint the inside, but if you want to, it's not going to hurt your bees. It's not. Now, if I was going to paint the inside a little bit, I would be painting around the inside of the edges where water could get down and kind of swell in a little bit. But again, I don't fool with that. I just don't think it's fully necessary. The main thing is just to focus on these edges and everything. You can see where I've got little chunks of debris that came off the lid under this paint. But so we've already focused on the edges a little bit. I'm going to be pushing into this a little bit more. Now you can make yourself a better system than what I have right here to paint your equipment. Just make sure you paint this up here, you come back again and just push it into that end grain. I mean, just get it all in there and do it again and do it again. Your equipment will last so much longer and your bees will thank you, and so will your pocketbook. Come back in a handful of years and do it again. Yeah, that's going to be really good right there. All it takes is a little bit of moisture to get inside that equipment, and it is going to start swelling and start the decomposition process. Now, if you're in a dry area where you only get about 8 to 10 inches of rain a year or less, you know, this might not apply to you as much. But here in Tennessee, let me tell you, it makes a big difference. Now, we will be doing more videos in regards to sealing and stuff like that. Now, by the way, I almost forgot. I have used a paint sprayer in the past, and those work really fast and awesome. You can even rent them for a pretty cheap price. However, you're still going to want to roll these edges. You're going to want to roll these corners, push that in there, and then you can do like one coat of that, then come back and do it again, and then spray the rest of the box. And that does work really well because, again, this right here is pretty easy to keep from rotting. It's always those corners. I think I've covered about everything except that I wanted to mention that we have the playlist again up in the, I think it's this side. Yeah, I was like, yeah. This side over here, we're going to be keeping on top of the playlist this year. So if you have questions, feel free to leave them. But always check the playlist.
All right. Thanks for bearing with me. Just thought that would be a really neat thing to watch and hopefully learn from. Stop.
I told you about my paint score.
Yes, but you expect
I
me
went
to
to a paint
remember?
store. I went to a paint store and I asked them if they had any, you know, wrongly tinted, and I got awesome outdoor paint, a gallon of it for $8.
Wow. Pay, like he said, the $200 one. Well, I paid the 100, and we always buy it, and we buy it by the 5-gallon at the Home Depot, Bear.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I'm that person, but it's much better paint than anything that we've ever bought before.
Yeah, we use Bear here too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, sorry. I saw where you guys were, as you saw that I made him stop because I was looking at chat. So okay. So you have any questions on that? You guys are ready for February and March, and you know how to paint your hives, and you're good to go?
Well, thank you for the wind head up today, because I've been keeping bees over the last 10 years for 7 seasons. I've never had a lid blow off, but I popped my lids 2 days ago to check food stores on my 6 hives. And I went out yesterday and I put sugar blocks on all 6 hives. And then the one, I had my dad's old telescoping cover that's 1 million years old, and I replaced it with a new thin one. So no propolis seal. And you put that up on Facebook today, and I told her, I said, damn, I better go check it. Son of a bitch, one of my tops were boop gone.
Wow.
So
Yep.
I went and put 6 half center blocks on the top, and I'm like, I need to ratchet strap down my hives. Yes, Kathy. Yes, Phyllis. Yours are all strapped, and I need to follow suit because, yeah, it was not good today.
Yeah.
But
it can't.
I have 6 out of 6, and
Yeah.
it's still a week from March. And I told my husband, I'm feeling cocky, but I can't do the strut because it's not the end of March yet.
That's right.
So,
right.
but oh, knock on wood, I think I might be good. Famous
Yeah.
last
Sounds good.
words. Yeah.
Sounds good. You guys can still oxalic acid too, don't forget. So you got some new babies hatching out, and so that means you got some new mites coming to your hive. So get those suckers and let them start afresh without the form wing or anything. Yeah, Christina. No, I can't hear you.
She sounded better when she didn't have headphones on.
I don't even see
Sometimes,
that.
sometimes when you change, like put a headphone on, you have to go into your computer and tell it into your mic.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. He was talking about painting the inside of the hives. Now I've heard like both sides of the fence on that, but they lean more towards everything I've ever heard was don't do it because they'll chew the paint, they'll poison them, et cetera, et cetera. What are your all's viewpoints on that? Because I'm open to constructive criticism either way.
Well, like he said, the paint, when they did that, the paint was probably just like a whitewash, which that was probably just lime and water, right? Or something
Okay.
like that, some minerals. And nowadays it's filled with so many chemicals that sometimes you have to, cover your nose just to be able to
Right.
paint. So anything like that, I would not, like I use log stone or log wood, what is it?
I would
Stain?
never paint the inside of my hives.
Oh,
They're
I
not
Yeah,
exposed
I
to-
haven't.
and they're
What
not
about like
exposed to
mineral
weather.
oil or something like that? Because I mean, I've heard that mineral oil is supposed to be kind of good since it's it's more natural and things like that.
Mhm.
I scraped up the inside of my hives last year, so they put more Proprius on the wall, and that worked.
Yeah.
I
That's
can
right.
say I did something different than paint. I'm not sure how it's going to hold up, but we'll see. But I used, it's called Echo Wood.
Yeah. I tried that
That's
and they
what
all went black.
Did
They
you?
went brown.
Did they
Yeah,
really? See, mine didn't turn brown yet, but they haven't
No,
been
it-
in the sun.
Right. They will. It's kind of gray. They'll turn gray.
Yeah, mine are green, kind of
Yeah.
a greenish color almost.
Mhm.
Well, we burnt ours first, so it might
Uh-huh.
not be as evident, but do you feel like it kept your boxes pretty good?
Oh yeah, my boxes are fine. I love it. I like the natural look in my field rather than the painted look.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
That's
we
what I
used to-
wanted, and I love it. The
we
Eco is the
torched-
same thing.
We torched ours first and then dipped them in the Echo Wood.
Mhm.
So
But you
Where
guys
you
are
get
have
that?
pretty hives. Mine are being painted white. And this week, 2 deep boxers getting Spider-Man stickers. 2 deep boxes are getting mermaid stickers, and 2 boxes are getting wild animal stickers.
There you go. There you go.
And it's the
I've-
moons and suns on mine. So they
I've got a
all the
little-
suns are different.
I got a lot of different things. You guys know I do colors and
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever I have.
I would like the
Mhm.
natural appearance, but all of a sudden I have 3 grandbabies that want bees and they want
Hey.
their full hives.
that's how you start them.
Where do
That's
you
the way
get
I
the
do with mine.
eco
pardon,
Huh?
paint or whatever it is? Where do you find that at?
Amazon.
It's a powder. You
It's
mix
a
it
powder.
with water.
Yeah, you mix it with distilled water, a gallon, and then we just
Mhm.
bought a tote and then dipped
I
ours.
bought the big box of it, and I used a big tote, and then I just, like you, I torched mine and then sanded my boxes, and I dipped it all 4 sides, inside and out, and then set them up to dry, and they dry in no time. And I mean, no
easy.
rot,
It
no
was the
nothing.
It was the easiest thing I've ever done, paint wise,
Yep.
stain wise, or anything.
Well,
I mean,
Mhm.
you need to talk to some.
Support your West Virginia beekeepers. Bearsville Bees is looking at patenting, big word, their eco dip formula they're coming up with. So when I talked to them at Hive Life, my brother is getting ready to start bees and he wanted the natural finish look. He wanted to brand his farm logo on the front. And he had looked at a couple other people there that had the eco dip, but Bearsville Bees said they are very close to patenting what their natural dip is. So
yeah, they said
have
theirs
something
is
coming from West Virginia soon.
when I got the Layens hive, they told me that it was the Echo Wood on steroids is what it is. It's kind of like,
Okay.
so I haven't
Well-
painted, I haven't done anything to the Layens hive and I probably won't. I'll probably just leave it natural. and we'll
Mhm.
see how it goes.
Well, you need to speak with someone, that has used the Eco Dip, for years, because like
Right.
Cheryl, she just used hers last year. Of course, she's not going to have any rot,
No.
and
Oh, they're older hives though that I had to clean up, and I have no I mean, my hives look just as good now as they did last year. I got to say that. And I got it recommended by other older beekeepers who told me if you don't want to paint your hives, this is a good thing.
yeah.
And because it's 100% natural, there is nothing chemical wise in it. It's done through copper sulfate or something like that, or something that's in there that's natural. That
The reviews were like amazing. Like there was
Yes,
5,000
yes.
reviews that were great. Me, I would have painted mine, but we like that burnt wood look. So, and I knew the Layens hive was going to look like that. So we just decided to go with the natural. I wasn't against painting or anything. It made it easier on us to do it that way.
I actually want
Yeah.
to get stencils and put little stencils of
I
designs
did.
on each of mine, but I want to keep the hive itself, the color natural.
Cool.
So that was my whole deal.
Well, it's gone up quite a bit. 1 gallon was $16, Christina. You can do 1 gallon.
It does a lot.
So,
So like 1
and-
gallon
Yes.
I have like a half a gallon left, and I did 6 boxes, 2 lids,
Mhm.
2 bottom boards.
And
It's
when
called
you go to-
Eco Wood Dip, is that it?
Echo,
I was
Eco,
gonna
or
say, it's
ECO.
ECO.
ECO wood treatment.
Wood treatment, okay.
And I
Yeah.
read
It's in
to
a
use-
silver box.
And I read on there, they said to use distilled water. I don't know what the reason for that is, but
Because it doesn't have
Because-
other minerals in it.
right.
It helps it to preserve it because, yes, that's it. If
Okay.
you use it, once you use it, get yourself like I did mine. I did a 5-gallon bucket of mine. And I bought a 5-gallon bucket, and I have poured mine back into the bucket, and I just pour it back into the tote when I get new things and I, get another hive done. Because I bought, as Phyllis knows, $2,000 worth of used equipment. And fortunately, it was in good shapes, but it needed to be cleaned up. And, I went through a lot of fears, so I would never suggest anybody to buy used equipment.
Right.
But in the process of cleaning, I decided to use the eco treatment. And every once in a while, I'll get another box out and strip it down and start cleaning it on the inside and stuff. And I do that with the heating of it and everything.
It would
So
be nice to know someone who's had it for like 5 years or so, though, to see how they're holding up. It'd be awesome, but is there anyone else that's used it?
I'm sure that
Hey,
they
we
are.
might start the trend. We might be we might be the example setters for that too. You never know.
So
Bearsville
it's
might
been
be
a-
the ones.
It's been around a long time. So if you would go like to WVBA page and, ask them, and I'm sure you'll get somebody to answer you.
Well, conference is where I found out about it, and I'm pretty sure it may have been Bearsville. They're the ones that gave out the little.
Yeah, but they
the-
have not been in business
they-
that long enough to know. That's what I'm saying. You
I'm
want
not sure.
you want
if it was
somebody,
them or
they've
who it
only been
was.
in business for what, 2 years or something. So,
Yeah,
and
2
they don't think they keep
know.
bees. So, I'm not
I don't
ditching
know.
it at all. I'm not being
It might not
negative.
have been. Like I say, all I know is that so far I'm satisfied though.
We used it when we first started beekeeping, but I would say they're in, because they look like they, after a while, they make your boxes look like when you don't do anything to them. They turn gray. And so, and we had some of that because we had to hurry up and put equipment together, and I didn't have time to do anything to it. So we threw it on there, and those have never been treated, and they're still doing fine. But I can't tell you which is which. So,
I've seen a video where they turned like that. There was someone who did a video on it, and they looked real, almost dingy looking. They looked like they grayed out or something, just
Yeah,
like old wood
exactly.
sat for. Now
Yeah.
ours, hopefully they don't do that because we burn them, but who knows? They might be really dark.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, but they're still, if you're doing the natural way, that, wood turns gray. So,
right.
Right.
that's still natural.
And
Yeah.
I think that's a really pretty color because once we are able to build or buy a shed or something for the main apiary, that was kind of going to be like my interior colors was like
Yeah.
I call it driftwood gray.
Yeah,
And,
it's
more
exactly
earth
what it looks like.
tones, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and just remember, you want something in the front for them to acknowledge that that is their hive.
Right.
Like that's probably where Sue's grandkids are going to put their Spider-Man stickers is on the front, so they know that that bee knows that Spider-Man is my home and
Right.
mermaid is my home. So it can be just a little flower, it could be a little red dot.
That's
They
why
don't
I
see
put
red
little
very well,
moons and
but
Mine have
we'll-
numbers on them.
yeah, but those are probably colored, right?
They're actually, no, they're like a tin color. They're little
Okay,
tin
but they're the
cutouts, but I,
same thing over and over. That's why I'm saying you don't want repetitive. You know, the commercials, they don't care. You know, I don't care if my queen comes back or whatever, because they just do whatever. But we, you know, like sideliners and down to backyard, you want a distinguished hive for each queen. And because maybe I guarantee you, you can be the best beekeeper around, and that's might swarm, and then you're going to need a queen to be bred. So she's going to have to figure out and not go down to the mermaid one because that's the only one that's marked. So, you know, mark
Want to
mark
knock
each
down,
hive.
you want to knock down that drift.
Yeah.
And for me, like at this point, I only have 6 hives. So I have 4 hive stands that can hold 4 hives each. But mine, I don't have electric up, and I'm gonna have to do it because this bear is gonna come get me one of these years, and you guys are gonna say, "You dumb bitch." But mine are all on the
Yes, we will.
It's coming. I'm getting the damn electric. I'm gonna use the ratchet straps to spring because I'm over
Susan,
that.
I just got electric this year,
I
okay?
know, but my hives sit on the edge
Right,
of a
and
field
Con.
with a giant hill. So I have like 2 hives and then 6 feet, and then 2 hives and then like 6 feet. They're like running up the hill. So for me, I don't think I have an issue of drift. But if you
Right.
are sitting with your boxes all, 6 on one stand, right next to each other, you're going to have a drift issue.
Yep.
Wonder if you could paint, because I have the migratory lids, and you've seen the one I showed the picture of the last time
Yeah,
that
Shara.
has.
Sorry,
There should be.
Donna.
Oh, I'm
No, go
sorry.
Sharon's
ahead.
showing
I
hers,
didn't
yeah.
want to interrupt you.
No, that's my job, right? Sorry, Donna. Go ahead. Yeah, that's it. That's all I'm saying. Just something to distinguish each hive different. Go ahead, Donna. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But the one I showed you the picture of where I did the be happy and things like that. The other one I did nothing to, but we thought about painting the front of the migratory lids like purple and teal.
Mhm.
Do you
Yeah.
think that'd be okay just to
Yep.
do something like that?
That's what I did to my newts. And because my lid is a magnetory lid, it has the piece of wood. And I
Right.
painted and it worked really well. I had almost all of them come back 100%, but I painted different colors, each
Just on
board
that
was a different
outside
color.
board?
Yep.
Just on the outside, or did you do the whole lid?
No,
Just the
no.
outside board?
Yeah, well, that year, but then last year, yeah, I painted because my equipment's getting rough, so I'm gonna have to paint a lot. But the year that I did that, I did the first, the bar that goes over. I painted that a bright color, and I never put, 2 colors of the same. And I do that even with my hives. If I go by the bottom because we have so much intermix, equipment that I do a dark green, a sage, and a brown, and a white. I hardly have white, but I make sure that I don't do a dark green and a dark green. I always, break up the colors. And if that's the case, then I, empty it out and put another box there. So, yeah, I just try to keep it uniformed that, they can, and if you have two places of hives like this, like when you guys get bigger and you're breeding queens, you want those queens to be in the front if you can do that. Because the new queens come over and they sometimes go in there in the front row and they they die, they kill them. So just something to think about when you get bigger. If you give 2 rows of queens. So,
I don't know if it was mentioned, but another thing you can do is use the just a little different color, like the entrance little disc things, if you want to use that, or there's different little things you can do to.
Absolutely. I've seen people just get one of those like a flower that's a fake flower, and that you can get at Walmart or dollar store, and staple it to each hive, just so they have something to, you can whatever you can. I've seen some of them do little gnomes, different colored gnomes sitting on their hives. So I mean, it's endless. Whatever your imagination can
Has
think
anyone
of, you
ever
can do
tried
it.
acrylic? Has anyone ever tried acrylic paint? Because that's what I used. I'm afraid it's going to wash off after I did that. I thought that might not be weather resilient.
Oh, you're muted. Yeah.
I did acrylics on a hive that I'd actually, it was made out of cypress wood. We we lucked out and found it at Always a few years ago. We paid $80 for like a 2 deep box with a little observation window in the back that flips down. But I painted it, and I used like acrylic paints on it and did like the little trees and clouds and stuff. I'm not an artist, but it was okay. But so far it has not come off. So
That's good. That's a lot of work.
Hey, I
Well,
just want to throw something out there for you, Donna.
Sure.
If you do want to have different colors,
Mhm.
just for Lowe's, for instance, I talked to them in the paint section when I very first got hives, and the little bit of knowledge she gave me there, I've just held on to. And that is that all those sample colors that come in like the 1 cup varieties. Now they don't come in all the brands, but they do come in very reputable brands. But those are all outdoor paints. It doesn't matter if you're going to use it for inside or not. All their sample colors are indoor, outdoor. So you can just get a sample of, red or orange or yellow or whatever, and just pay $3 for it. You don't have to buy a quart as the small one.
That's
Excellent
real good to know.
So if
that's
you
a
want to,
great
if you want to
idea.
do,
Thank you.
yeah.
And I believe it's red. Bees can't see red. They can see every
Right.
other color but red.
But it turns violet, so you can use it. So yeah, it's not a good one to use, but yep.
Bob Benny likes teal and purples. I watched him last night, and he was like, teal and purple, these are perfect colors. I'm like, oh, that's good. Those are my favorite too. So.
I have some teal hives, and I like them. They're bright, and they're probably about 4 years old, and they still look good. So I
Wonder
like
if I should
teal.
put anything on the lay-ins. Would you put something on it too, just to make it?
Well, you have your little slits there, right? You could just
Well,
do like a little.
no,
Oh, you
they're
have a
the
little
holes.
hole.
Yeah.
Then make a flower out of it. Like a
Mhm.
sunflower or something.
Yeah, I could do
Literally
that.
take a black permanent marker and make a star, make a circle,
Yeah.
be really cute. Draw like a barber shop or something there too. Or a
I,
little farmer's market around it.
way
I
above my
saw
pay grade.
I saw one the other day, and it was a farm with a deer and everything. It was just absolutely beautiful. So yeah,
That
and that one
horizontal,
I
the
can see.
horizontal. Go
Yeah.
ahead. I'm sorry, Phyllis.
No, I can just people do that with the Langstrom hives, and then you intermix once you get bigger, right? So, but
Right.
it always has to build because that's the picture. But with your lay-ins and your horizontal hives, then it's never going to change. So
Yeah, the
I
horizontal hive got the website. He sells, they're like emblems that are made
Oh,
out of
uh-huh.
metal, and they have
Mhm.
like beautiful pictures on them. And I think they're like $300 or maybe even more than that. But I mean, they're gorgeous. But I'm
Oh,
thinking,
I bet. Yeah. Yeah, you can find an artist around. So that would probably do it for hardly anything, or just to promote, her art. I'm going to say her
Walmart
artwork.
has some really neat stencils, and there's one actual one that's for farms, and it has cows and little chickens, and it's got a little barn, and you can actually put together your own little scene. And I done already looking at those, and the sponge
Mhm.
type of,
You
instead of
guys have
using a
too much time on your
paintbrush,
hands.
that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna
Yeah.
do each of
Well,
mine's
take a
gonna have a different stencils on them.
take a picture, post them.
Oh, I will.
Yeah.
I just see it.
Yeah, I did stencils once, like the pretty things, and I've done wood burning, and
Mhm.
it was awesome. I did Winnie the Pooh sitting there, and now, I mean, it was great when I did it, and I took the colored pencils and colored him in, and then kind of shellacked it over just him, and but now you can't even. You have to look and it's like, is that Winnie the Pooh? So all that work didn't last, only like
Yeah.
maybe a year or
But
two.
this is where you come back into the one thing you ladies have taught me in beekeeping. When you ask a question, there's going to be a million different answers because one person is commercial,
Mhm.
one person is a sideliner, one person is a hobbyist. If I only have 6 hives, dude, I can rock if I'm artistic, which I'm not. You can rock the cutest little
Oh
hive,
yeah.
rock your
Yeah.
yard. And I have 6 hives. I'm not artistic. The best thing I can do is different colors, but now I've discovered Amazon waterproof stickers.
There you go.
And guess
That's
what?
perfect.
I figure a putty knife at 3 years is going to scrape all those off because a freaking 2-year-old, 4-year-old, and 6-year-old are not going to like Spider-Man, mermaids, and cute animals probably next year. I just want the little fucker. Oh, excuse me. I just want my little sweet grandchildren to start keeping bees.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, keep them interested for sure. Yeah.
Cheryl,
Yeah.
don't make fun of me.
Oh, Susan.
Hey,
We are still recording, remember?
oh, I don't like the recording.
And now I know why.
She keeps it real, man.
Tired,
She
they
keeps it
can't
real.
take my pension away, I don't think.
That's okay. We love you, Sue. We love you. But I'm just saying, I have a nuke that Rick's nephew came up to visit, and he burnt with the wood burner and made it like a log cabin, put the front door in and it still looks great. So just if you paint them, then they don't do well with wood burning.
Right. I wood burned a whole hive one time and I repainted it over. You say, what is that there? Oh, they look like little flowers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Paint it over.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but Mr. Owen. Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
Owen. Hi, Owen.
Bethany, he is beautiful.
He is
Thank
beautiful.
you. Oh, he's like, oh, he likes to talk on the iPad.
He's
He
getting
likes us
excited.
ladies too, doesn't he?
Yeah, I picked him up because he was fussing. I said, "You want to go talk to the ladies? Be a ladies' man."
No, he's awesome. He's doing so good.
He's growing
Watch out,
fast.
Grandma.
I
Yeah.
can't get over how
Yeah,
big
he
he's
is.
getting so
I
fast.
know he is growing like a weed. So, does anybody have any other comments or anything they need to talk about?
I want to ask Christina how many hives she's got running.
Not the one I had out back that was survived. It died. And I have not yet been to the ones that are out on the main bee guard because of the cold weather up there on the property. So hopefully the end of this week or next week, it'll warm up enough for me to actually go out and check on them.
Good. I wish you good luck, woman.
Yeah,
Thank you.
me too. It's tough. That's why
Yeah, you
I'm
wouldn't
going
think
home.
4 miles outside of Philippi would have that much of a temperature change, but it's like 10 degrees colder up there today than it was down in town.
Oh,
It's
sure.
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't cold today, but it was windy.
I had a question.
Yeah,
I
Dawn, go ahead.
have a
Oh,
super.
Bethany.
Yeah, me. Sorry. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
gotcha.
I have a super in my freezer that it was the one last summer that it's like I never did check the moisture content on it, but
Mhm.
it was like they'd start to cap it and then it wasn't, and it just never really got capped. So I just put it in the freezer. Well, I figure there's a potential for it to have, like, it wasn't nectar or anything, but do you think it would be better to put it on a hive that needs food, or just to set, thaw it and let it sit out for it to be robbed by anybody and everybody? Because
Well-
I don't know if it would be too much moisture on a hive. You know what I mean?
Are they all uncapped, all of it?
There's some little bits here and there. Like I said, that hive, I'd go in there and it's like, okay, why are you not capping it? Why are you not capping it? And they'd start to cap a little bit, and I'd come back again thinking it was going to be more done, and it was less done.
Right, wow.
So,
Huh.
it
Do you
wasn't
have a
even close
refractometer?
for- I do. Will I
I
have to
would-
thaw some of that out?
I would thaw it out and it really doesn't need thaw because it never, hardens unless it crystallizes, and then it is what it is. But
No, I mean, it shouldn't have, because it was in the freezer.
uh-huh. Yeah, I would just
Um,
get you a little knife and dig into it and put it on your meter and see what level it is. And if it's, if it's way in the 20s, then yeah, that's too much. They're going to have to work at it. They can't eat it. So, but I guess they could eat it. I don't know why they wouldn't. They eat it
Hi,
right out of
Tiffany.
the.
Hi, Tiffany.
Yeah, see you, Tiffany. I missed that one. Good night, ladies.
Because I mean, there's a couple hives that I could one way or the other. If not, I could just put it out and they could just
Well,
rob.
but think of this. Usually, the way that we think is that the weak hives, they're not going to get it anyway. If they're the ones that need it, then you need to put it on the hive.
Right.
Because the strong hives are the ones that are going to be out robbing, which they obviously don't need it because they're, you said they're full. But,
It really shouldn't have that much moisture to
I wouldn't
bother a
think.
hive.
I wouldn't think that it would, because like I said, it was on there forever, and it wasn't like it was real thin or anything. I can still check it, but for one, I'd love to have it out of my freezer. For two, good night. I would love to have it, be able to use it to feed somebody. He is like all about this.
Owen!
Oh, he's just going to get worse.
Hi, there's Kathy.
Amy. Amy has a
Bethany, I
question.
had the same situation because I think I kept having such increasing amounts of baby bees. They weren't capping it, they kept eating it. And I fed those all back and never had one bit of problem.
Okay. Okay, good to know.
Good. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Amy. I never put any of mine in the freezer, so I'll just Donna, you got your hand up?
Yes. One of the things that I'm wondering if we talked about, because I feel like I forgot to write it down, was nematodes. Did somebody mention something about that?
Yeah. Kathy. Kathy
Beneficial
can tell you all about
nematodes,
those.
to help with the if you have wax moths, no, hive beetles, because they pupate into the soil in front of you.
And so
You
are
can
those,
buy-
I mean, are they completely safe to, because
Yeah.
we thought about treating before we get our bees, and in that way, or not, I guess that's not a treatment, but it is, but
Linda Casey, who is a member of the Mon County Beekeepers, uses beneficial nematodes underneath her hives for multiple years, and they have to be reapplied every year. They are completely
Yes, they
safe.
do.
But Linda Casey, if you go on to the Mon County Beekeepers, she has been using them forever. She is a excellent resource for different types of treatments.
She's in our women's group.
And she will
So you
tell you
can-
they
yeah.
are an excellent treatment.
Yeah, I've used
Yeah.
them for years in my regular garden. I remember the first time I had them delivered to the house, my husband's going, "You got bugs delivered in the mail?" That was before I
yeah,
mailed
they're
for my
kind of,
bees.
they're strange. It's a weird thing. Can you use like a regular, like one of the sprayers that you spray like an insecticide with? Can you use one of those sprayers to put in the
I did not use the watering can with a bigger, because I want to make sure they got in there. I'm afraid I'd lose them because you can't really see them.
Right. I just wondered if you could use a sprayer like that.
Good night, Rhonda.
Ask Linda.
would
Casey.
Google it.
She is the
Night,
master.
Rhonda.
She has
Yeah.
used them over and over, and she
Ask-
would be
yeah,
more
ask
than
them
happy
and-
to respond to you.
Google it.
Yeah.
I tried to Google it, but you come up with like 20 different,
Yeah,
it's
right.
hard to get like a definite.
Well, putting it in Linda,
Donna, are you a member of the Women Beekeepers? Are you a member of any other West Virginia groups?
I'm not.
Well, she's
But
on
Phyllis, you
our
said
women's group.
Linda
Yeah.
Casey. Okay,
Yeah.
so Donna, literally, I'm gonna take your name and I'm gonna send Linda a message right now to get hold of you because she has used it forever.
Okay,
Well, I
thank
think
you.
ask her, Sue, ask her if she would put a post on our women's and educate us all.
Yeah, that'd be
Absolutely,
great.
because
So-
she's done it forever and she is wickedly bright at the things that she uses.
Oh, listen, this says you can use a watering can, a hose end sprayer, a backpack, or a pump sprayer through irrigation or misting systems. So you can use what
There
you
you
want.
go. Yeah.
And what's it called?
Huh?
Beneficial nematodes.
Beneficial nematodes.
Nematodes.
How to
They're
apply them
little-
using a watering can, hose
They're
end
little
sprayer,
microscopic organisms.
a backpack or pump sprayer, or through irrigation or misting systems. So you
Hmm.
can put them any way you want into the soil.
Yeah,
A
because they come,
roundworm.
they come in like different, like you can get 50 million of them, or you can, and they're expensive. They're not cheap.
The one thing they tell you though, Donna, is make sure they're photophobic. So don't make sure the sun is low when you apply it.
Right. It said, make sure it's like after a rainy day, like a moist
Mhm.
ground, and then it's best to do it if it's going to rain the next day. I did read that.
I don't know if it would be beneficial, which Linda could answer this, put it in there before you have bees.
Well, they
Because
can
why,
last a year.
well,
I
why
reckon you don't.
why you want to use them is to kill the small hive beetle
Right. I wouldn't put
larva.
them without having-
And if your bees come and they don't have small hive beetles, then you're just wasting money.
I agree.
Just something to think about. Something
I
else
agree.
to think about.
Do you know how much money I spend every year to get rid of these things in my dog? They're roundworms, it says.
Roundworms.
That's what it
Nematode-
says. And nematodes or roundworms. That's what that says on here. And when I pull it up on the encyclopedia. Also called nematodes, also called roundworms.
Oh, my granddaughter's had it. I should have scraped her skin.
Any worm of the phylum nematodas, something, I don't know, it just goes on, but yeah, I pulled it up, man, and I'm like, yeah, I spent a lot of money to get rid of these worms on my dogs, so.
Well, I know they eat like flea larvae, they eat tick larvae, they eat all kinds of, it's weird what they do, but.
Well, I guess if you're not going barefoot in your bees area, you're okay.
Yeah,
'Cause,
right.
I mean,
Well, that's something to think about. Yeah. So you don't get ringworm.
roundworm. Humans can pick up roundworm as well as ringworm. Ringworm is not a worm. It's actually a fungus.
Ew,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
Like
thank
athlete's
you
foot.
for the help with that,
Mhm.
Kathy.
Yeah.
You guys,
Well,
thank you, Susan.
Sue will contact Lisa or Linda, and she's a real nice lady. She'll definitely help you, and I hope she posts so we can all learn from your question. So that was good. All right, I think I'm gonna turn this off and